Namaste, and welcome to our continuing series on homeopathy with our beloved Dr. Pachegaonkar. Last week, we did complementary therapies, and I recommend that you all see that as soon as we post it. Today, we are going to begin a series on the senses, and the first one we've agreed to is hearing. Good.
There are 5 main senses known, but these are 5 main senses, but there are supposed to be totally 33 special senses we have. But these 5 are of prime importance, like hearing, then vision, eyesight, then touch, then taste and smell. And all these special senses work in wonderful harmony. See, we have to understand the basic structure of the human being and its function. The whole human being, the onset of being starts with one, at structural level, one cell, one zygote. And with the multiplication of cells and taking special form, the many tissues, many organs, many systems are formed out of multiplication from this one zygote. And therefore, some cells take role of nerves. They become nerve cells, neurons. Some other cells take form of epithelial lining. Even the connective tissues are formed. So same way, the special senses are governing, helping the whole system to offer a proper response to the environment around, to the universe. So one by one, if we start discussing hearing, we have 2 ears to hear. And typically it has a drum, eardrum, what we call, on both sides, similar. It's a replication. And whenever there is any sound creating vibration around us, the drums sense it first. The drums vibrate. And these vibrations are sensed by the sensors, and it's a network, a fine network, and then the brain analyzes it. And not only that, both the ears hear it, and then it is synchronized. So even the direction is made out, even the sound is analyzed. So we learn the background of the sound. For simple example, if a dog is barking, now from childhood we see that the dog is barking, so I see dog is barking, and ears hear that sound of barking, and there our brain interprets that this is how the dog barks. Not only that, dog barks when it is furious. Dog barks when it needs pampering and calling owner. So even from barking also, that sound, our brain can interpret it. So same way, like our language, the phonetic language, and what words we speak, we learn, we understand. Again, we hear, and everything is analyzed. Not only analyzed, it is even stored. And many times we say that, first mind knows, then only you can hear it. Because unless your mind knows like what this sound is like, the hearing can't be interpreted properly. We have seen that if a child doesn't have experience of snakes crawling, you may not be aware of it. But if you have seen some snake crawling, and you have heard the sound, and later on, even with only sound, you will be able to make out that snake is going there or advancing. So it is again mind which has to know, and then hearing, and that everything has to be synchronized. And ear is a very funny organ. It has even so many components near it which help you even in balancing yourself. So it is not only just getting sound and that you are hearing and analyzing it and then you are reacting to it. Even your balance apparatus, labyrinth, what we call it, it is again in the vicinity of ear. So ear has a capacity to hear the sounds from various decibels. And what is our human range? In that range, we are able to even analyze it and understand so many phenomena. Like, for example, male or female. Just by hearing the frequency of the sound, one can make out it is a male voice or a female voice. So such a ultra fine analysis can be done by hearing, and these are the senses where one knows how to synchronize with even other senses. So touch and sound, the smell and sound, then the sight, eyesight, and sound, all these things work together. I have seen that the function of the special sense can be compensated or can be even cultivated more by using it more sensibly and more with sensitivity. And it is not one organ which is working. Here we have both the ears sensing same thing from different angles, and then the interpretation is done. And therefore we have seen that in dark, if you get some sound, not only you can hear what the sound is, but you can even know the direction, you can know even the distance from which it is coming. And then even with this type of fine analysis, you can respond better to the environment for your survival and your progress. So you can listen to wonderful music, and that we know that the music, the notations which are analyzed in our brain can have soothing effect on you, whereas if there is a chaos, it can have adverse effect on you. So it is actually, and therefore body has wonderful phenomena where body can even remedy it. Like if it is a chaos, then body will rouse its defense so that the body is not affected by it, and therefore the after effects of the chaos or noise will be definitely prevented. And if the sound is a musical notations which is very soothing, and body will definitely receive it, perceive it, and then assimilate it and enjoy it, rather for better progress. So each of these senses are very important from not only survival point of view, but even from the point of view of our own progress. I have seen the speech and hearing centers are connected, and it's quite logical also. Now unless you hear and analyze the sound, you will not be able to reproduce similar sound. If we are learning the language in whatever way.
Well, it's very musical.
Yes, yes.
I teach it all the time.
Yes. So that is what we say. And we have language, Sanskrit language, such a language that each phonetic, pronunciation of alphabet or even words, they are framed in such a way that they have positive effect on your body. So they have studied the vibrations of the notations, and based on that they have framed the phonetic language. And therefore Sanskrit is supposed to be the best language from this point of view. That by hearing these notations, our body gets positive vibrations, and it is what we call to be the best environment it provides for physical progress, mental progress, or spiritual progress. And therefore hearing is something which really, if someone is deprived, they understand the knowledge. We have seen, so if someone can't hear or hearing difficulty, for them the driving on the road would be very difficult. It's not only with the sight they can drive, they have to even hear someone blowing horn or some noise around it. So that alertness will be more if one is capable of hearing everything. Now, this hearing has known to be having a direct effect on your behavior. Like we have seen in our clinic, where the person has hearing difficulty, like people go on shouting near him, or they amplify the sound so that the person can hear. And we have done this experiment that we just talk with these people with the lowest tone, possible tone. We repeat again and again what we want to say, but we do never talk loudly, or we don't amplify the sound. And after 3-4 minutes, the person starts perceiving what we are talking. They can hear. The reason is they start hearing with eyes. So the lip movement, the gesture is observed, and based on that, the analysis in their brain is done of these words which they hear. So definitely all these special senses are 100% interconnected. So like there is a sensation called where we balance ourselves. Now this is not with these 5 senses alone, but when we walk, we balance even with the eyes. If you close your eyes and start walking, it's very difficult unless the blind person without vision has cultivated his gait. But if one is not blind, one has very good eyesight, he will not be able to walk steadily with closed eyes. Because we walk even with the eyes. Because that balancing, everything is done with all these special senses. So therefore, hearing with both the ears is essential, because if it is one, we don't get 3-dimensional view. Like eyes, we have 2 eyes. So from different angle, when we look, what we call 3D vision, we get, because we have 2 eyes. Having the same image is received twice at 2 places and then analyzed, and that analysis is synchronized. Same way hearing also. And therefore we have stories from even Ramayana also, where people used to shoot someone in dark only with the sound. So same way our hearing is such an apparatus. It gives us perception of not only the sound and communication, but it gives us perception of the distance, the direction, and again the matter which we hear. But again, what we call hearing is a word which is very materialistic word. But we say we listen, in the sense their mind has to be applied. Mind has to be alert, mind has to be receptive. Then only you can hear the things. There are, like, we get some symptoms where if there is some noise, they can't hear the voice. Whereas there are people where the mind is synchronized with hearing, they can hear even the minutest sound, even during the noise. So hearing is something which is beyond the ear apparatus. It has to be centrally from the brain, where at the central system things are received, perceived, and then we offer our reaction to that.
I would like to ask you a question about something negative, PTSD. When these soldiers are in the war, what actually happens to the eardrums? Are they shattered?
Yes, if there is we have cases where there is a bomb blast
Mm-hmm.
they have confronted, and that has damaged this. And we have treated some cases where their hearing was impaired since when they confronted the bomb blast. It was a loud noise. Because our eardrum and the mainly the nerves which carry the impulse, they work in a fine network. And because of the blast, which is like say 1,000 times more than the capacity or a usual confrontation what we have
Mm-hmm.
from childhood, if the soldier confronts very close by, there is an explosion, and with that sound they get deafened, their nerves get affected. And we have a remedy like aconite napellus. You remember, aconite napellus is a plant which has, which it helps in recovering sudden shock of anything, mind or body. And we give these remedies, and there the nerves which have undergone shock because of this explosive sound, they recover. But this is a known phenomena, where if they hear like noise pollution, if we go on hearing some noise around you, definitely your eardrums will acclimatize to the situation, and they will be less sensitive to that sound, so that they safeguard the system.
Mm.
And therefore they may lose hearing. Not only lose hearing, but they may land up in confusion, lack of confidence, and so many things together.
Have you been able to reverse hearing loss in
If
elderly people?
Yes. See, if the hearing loss is because of functional, what we call aberration, where there is just a communication in lost between the nerves, but the structural phenomena is intact. There we can reverse it. Definitely, the hearing loss can be reversed. But if there is a permanent structural damage where the nerves which conduct the impulse from the ear, they are degenerated and lost, then it's very difficult to recover. But as I told you, body has a wonderful apparatus. We have 2 ears. So if one ear has a deficient or diminished hearing, the other ear compensates. And therefore many people, they don't even realize that their one ear is not hearing properly. They realize only when, like, every time they just put one ear, like telephone, they
Mm-hmm.
can't hold in other one side which has diminished hearing. They hear with the one which is performing better. But definitely if we intervene them, again there are so many causes. Like commonest cause in India is that otitis media, what we call the middle ear infection, where the eardrum gets perforated, then the middle ear is infected or inflamed, and then even the nerves which carry the impulse to the brain, even that chain is broken and degenerated. But definitely if it's a functional loss, it can be recovered. Like we have treated cases with deafness after hearing such an exposure to explosion, and in these cases we could recover them.
But they say that as we age, we begin to hear less and less.
See, again, aging is a very funny phenomena. Like person can be very much aged at the age of 50, 55, and can be young at the age of 80, 85 in certain aspects. We have seen. And same is the case with hearing, even with vision, even with muscle strength. So hearing, I have seen people at the age of say 90 also, they don't have any issue with the hearing. They can hear everything. So again, it's again depending upon so many things, and mainly it is mind. If the person has a clarity at the level of mind, and there is a synchronized functioning of all these organs together, and person is calm to receive the sound, hearing will not be affected. Even at the age of, say, I have seen person with 90, 100. You met Nirodha, how nicely he was fine. At the age of 100 also we could converse with him without any amplified sound. Even Amal Kiran, KD Setna.
Yes.
Wonderful. You see, he was like almost paraplegic. He couldn't walk, but his hearing was perfect. Even
So
eyesight
then
was
are
perfect.
hearing aids not a good thing?
Hearing aids again is a very gray area. What happens, when there is a diminished hearing and we start using hearing aid, there again they are a bit different types. One is like it gives amplified sound. They are like as good as
Yes.
inbuilt amplifiers.
Yes.
And now, when you get used to one ear, you amplify, the other ear hears, it creates a lot of confusion. And then all the time it can't be, because everything will be amplified. And definitely the person can't sleep calmly or rest calmly. And therefore, to adjust the right sound, right level of amplification also will be difficult. And once what happens, when you can't hear, as I told you, people can compensate it just by lip movements. I have come across a case where I had to attend a lady who was not able to hear anything, and she was blind. Now, not able to hear and she was blind, it's very difficult to train. But with touch they can communicate. There was a movie in Amitabh Bachchan's where the actress is completely blind, and with just touching they can communicate, and person can have. So it can be compensated. But what I have seen is some people are very good in sign language as well as lip reading. And when I attended one lady who couldn't hear anything, but she could talk, couldn't hear anything, her vision also was good. And I had to take the case, and I couldn't ask her any question. In homeopathy, we need to have subjective symptoms. Only based on some lab tests and all, we can't treat the person.
And she's blind also.
So, no, this lady was not blind.
Oh, okay.
That was another case where only touch language could work. This lady's son is veterinarian, so he had adapted to the situation and developed a lip movement of the words. So he would just do the lip movements for the word, and that lady with the eyes could read that, and then she would answer. That, like, how is your appetite, which taste you like, and whole case wonderfully well I took. And son could adapt. Even it was amazing experience for me that the patient as well as the attendants, they have that much adaptability to the situation. With full confidence she gave the whole case. Only thing is, I was asking question, son used to interpret it in lip language, and she would answer. So it can be compensated, it shouldn't be difficult. But hearing aid, again, they say where there is irreversible hearing loss, and the person has lost so much of hearing capability, especially on both sides together, then hearing aid is the only way. But definitely, so far as possible, we ask them to avoid, so that their whatever capacity is there, that can be utilized and refined, and it can be intact.
Can a person increase his hearing capacity, such as the American Indians would put their ear on a railroad track and they could hear it 10 miles away?
Yes, this is known phenomena. Actually, hearing is something, where in olden days, the war time, just the person would lie on the ground and would be able to hear the sound of horses galloping, even from 15-20 kilometers. And not only that, from that they could even make out the direction from which they are coming. So this is known phenomena. But again, one has to cultivate it. One has to cultivate it. No, see, I have seen my friend. He was very fond of dogs, and he had pet dogs. And the way the dog barks, he would tell you what dog wants, because he has observed things. So cultivation is observation and then executing it like that. So that sensitivity, receptivity, we have to cultivate. That it goes easier.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, sir.